Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 31 of the 72 review. We've got a lot to get through this weekend. We've got last week's fixtures and this week's, so plenty to talk about. So this is why we're here half an hour early, 6 o'clock start rather than 6:30, because we're going to try and spend around half an hour on each division. I'm joined by a few
2 hour
usual...
show then, Dan.
Yeah. To my left, I think, never work out screens, is Jake, PunkChef41. Let people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
I am PunkChef41. I finally had the Mohawk back, so I've got that title back because it's been long due. Sheffield Wednesday fan. It's not been going great. It's weird. I'm gone back to feeling like a normal football fan. Grumpy, horrible, irritable. My missus loves it. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting chat this one. PunkChef41 on all social medias. My channel is all about Sheffield Wednesday. And I also do a podcast with Dexterity Box, which is James, and Worko, which is Jack, called the Talking Wednesday podcast, which is out every Tuesday at 5 p.m. If you like it on the audio feeds, please go give it a like on the ratings. It helps boost it like the like button on the algorithm. So yeah, and good to be back.
It is good to be back. Another potentially grumpy fan below me is Lee around the grounds. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
I thought you were going for Ian then first.
Happy start at 4 of us, I think, Ian, at the minute.
No,
I'm always grumpy, mate.
Yeah, I'm Lee. I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan. We're back to being same old Wednesday, back to what we used to. When I'm not following Sheffield Wednesday, I'm around the grounds, vlogging for my YouTube channel and absolutely loving the journey. Meeting great football fans like you guys.
Good stuff. And finally, we've got Ian in the bottom corner, and like I say, he's probably the happiest out of the 4 of us at the minute. Ian, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Hello, I'm Ian. I'm 61-year-old Millers season ticket holder. Been a Millers fan for 50 plus years. I also vlog like Lee does. Go around grounds mainly in Leagues 1 and 2 for Over the Bar YouTube channel, and just doing what I love, really.
Good stuff. All links to these guys' socials and channels is in the description down below. Head over, give them a like and a subscribe, show them some love. As normal, get your comments in. That does drive the conversation quite a bit. We've got a few in already. We've got Nat, evening lads in the chat. We've got Westerner, evening, and then we've got Brad. Can't believe we're flying. We was dead 2 months ago. Warnock, the legend. Yeah, we will
it's
talk
Warnock
about
effect.
Yeah, unreal. Hopefully we'll get Jonathan Harries in at some point as well. He's not showed up. I don't know if he thinks that we're starting at 6:30 or what. But yeah, as soon as he's in, we'll get him in, the MK Dons fan. Before we do start as well, we've got a couple of condolences. We want to extend our sympathies to Turfmoor House. His dad passed away at the very young age of 51. So our thoughts are with you, mate. And also Chef Cam has recently lost his mum as well. So thoughts and prayers are from us four, and extending out to you. It's never nice losing somebody that you love, and I'm sure the chat will agree with that. So yeah, that's probably why I've not seen much getting posted from them guys recently. But yeah, it's not very nice.
Dan did actually do a video. He did a live stream. He didn't want, and it was emotional. And I think the whole thing Friday and then come Monday, he's gonna be even more emotional because he was hoping to have that with his dad, kind of thing. And they knew it was going to be coming, but they didn't know it was going to be like actually going up yet in terms of it. So I think we all remember who took ourselves to our first football games. It's normally a family member. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that it's difficult.
It is indeed. So let's get straight into this one because, like I said, we've got a ton of stuff to get through. We're going to start in the Championship. Let's get the banner on. And Ian, it's been a decent couple of weeks for you. I think probably start at Rotherham, at Hull, where it was Hull 0, Rotherham 0. Cast your mind back to the 1st of April and try and take us through this one, mate.
Well, if there were ever a game where Matt Taylor decided to park the bus, this was it. We got a really, really good point out of this, but yeah, we were on the back foot virtually the whole game. We had one or two Forest forward, but defensively strong. We had a bit of a ropey last 10 minutes because of Queen's red card, which I'm not going to argue with. He brought the player down just at the edge of the box, and it was a certain stopping of a goal-scoring opportunity. So, yeah, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. So, yeah, we got a good point. Obviously, we didn't do a lot going forward, but defensively, we were really good. So, yeah, a very good point there.
Yeah, happy with that. I mean, Hull not quite out of the woods yet. I think they're probably safe, but a couple of
they've been interesting, haven't they? Because you look at them getting taken over in the summer, it sounds like they were about to like hit it and be up there, and it's just like it hasn't clicked for whatever reason. And I think the manager changed the situation. I think Rossini is doing a good job, but it can be what can he do in the summer of a full season?
Yeah, exactly. Talking about a manager doing a good job, Brad's come into the chat earlier. Huddersfield Town. This is an accumulator breaker, isn't it? Anybody who put a bet on would probably lump on Middlesbrough, and Huddersfield and Warnock are doing the business as they always do. And fantastic second half fight back against a very good Middlesbrough team. And this has massively dented Middlesbrough's automatic hopes, hasn't it? If we you want to talk on this one, Jake?
What can you say? What Warnock plan is he goes in, he looks at it, he sees what's going on in training, he sees what the mentality is. If the mentality ain't right, you go. He don't beat around the bush, he just says you go. And I think that's what Huddersfield need. They've had off the field situations. It looks like their takeover is getting sorted now. Middlesbrough looked okay in this to start with, and you're thinking, right, great bit of football, playing really well. But then Huddersfield just hit a different gear. It was weird. Yeah. The switch from that first goal going in for them and the second goal was unreal because they went really strange. Like they went, right, what for this? We can do this. The crowd got lifted. Everything just went in the right direction. And Warnock, when he eventually dies, for clubs that he does this at, he needs statues just put outside people's grounds where he's been at.
Because he was everywhere.
Yeah. The thing is, I love the fact that Neil Warnock doesn't want a round of applause for when he died. He wants everyone to call him a wanker. He said that in interviews, and I love it. I know I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and I'm meant to hate the man, but you can't not like him. The way his interviews that he does, the way he is, he's just a likable person. But yeah. I still think his situation when it comes to retiring is his missus go, you've been home for 6 months, pick a club now, I've had enough of you, go away.
I mean, he did perform the miracle at Rotherham in, I think it was 15-16, when we looked dead and buried, and he's doing exactly the same at Huddersfield. I just don't know what the guy has that turns average players and turns them mentally into world beaters.
You know how Ferguson had the hairdryer? It must be on turbo and max when bloody Warnock does it. They must be all just scared. That the thing is, I've seen him press. Everyone's seen the legendary Sheffield United thing. If that man's ranting and raving, you keep your gob shut. If you say something, he'll probably punch you.
So
when you come to think about it, Huddersfield, dead and buried, they've won at Millwall, beat Middlesbrough, and won at Watford in 3 games. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely give them life, hasn't it?
You can't write it, can you?
It's no coincidence that teams turn to him to get out of the mire. How many teams has he done it? So he's obviously one to turn to, and I think it's the difference from the teams down there that he's in Huddersfield, and it looked like the great escape could be on.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think
moving on
a lot
to
of
the team where the great escape.
Be grateful to his missus for saying the famous Sharon that says, "Get out there, I'm fed up with you."
If anyone's ever read his autobiography, it's really good read. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Moving on to another team that could be in a bit of bother. This one put them down there, but they've had a decent result on Friday. Cardiff and bragging rights in South Wales went to Swansea. Lee, one of your mates is a Cardiff fan. I bet it was tough talking to him after this one, wasn't it?
To be fair, I just left him alone, mate. I'll be honest. because I can't imagine what he'd be feeling. I mean, he's dropped a message today. Obviously, they got a good result against Blackpool away, but yeah, I just left him be. I mean, they keep having results like this, but then they keep having a good result that you'll think, oh, if they can actually get out of it, it's just it's a joy of the Championship. It's just every week a team gets in it, team gets out of it. But yeah, to concede that late on must have been heartbreaking for
especially
Cardiff.
to your local rivals.
Yeah.
Lee,
I mean,
Lee, you do realise you just described the hokey cokey, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, it's like you say, it's absolute heartbreaking. 99th minute against a local rival. It's tough against any team.
Do you
but
remember that game at New York a few years ago, Jake, when we were 2-1 up going into injury time?
Yeah, I do.
And I think it was Dominic Iorfa that scored the winner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Kieran Lee.
All right.
Kieran
Iorfa did score in that game,
He
didn't
did
he?
score in that game. Yeah, it was Kieran Lee, and then he got nicknamed the Miller Killer.
Yeah.
Miller Killer.
Yeah, I can remember what I felt like walking out that day. Oh, God.
Go on, explain it, Ian.
I can't be out swearing.
Yeah, we don't want to relive that. I think Rovers have had a few against Rotherham as well, where it's been last minute defeats.
Yeah. I saw your vlog from that one, Dan.
Yeah, I think I might remove that one from YouTube. It's a tough watch for Rovers fans. Looking back at the 1st of April fixtures, is there any more that you guys want to touch upon?
Luton.
Before we move on to this week's
Luton Town. Whatever's going on at the minute.
Walshy wasn't happy, was he?
Walshy wasn't happy. He wasn't on this show because he wanted to speak about how great the Luton Town were, but they are just pulling some cracking results out at the minute, and they're putting a lot of pressure on it. They're dark horses for me to get to a playoff final because they got it, and this is a local rivalry as well. And Watford, what can you say about Watford? They are so poor. And the problem is, I think they're getting to that point where they can't keep doing this manager change and hoping for the best. I think they need to now stick with someone and then let them have time to do it because it's not working. You can't keep changing.
I don't think Wilder's the man, though.
No.
Because I don't think he's happy there.
I don't think he's been properly happy since he left Sheffield United. He keeps going for these jobs and stuff, but I think he's one of those ones where the right job he's got to be right for him. And I think he's the kind of person who needs to go lower league, like properly, like he's done in the past, go lower league.
I can definitely see him walking away from Watford.
Yeah.
I can. But as far as Luton are concerned, they're our next home opponents next Saturday. Luton. To be honest, I'm frightened to death because they're a very, very good team.
They're organised.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Teams that sometimes don't score enough, if they're organised, they're more scary than how many goals do you do.
Yeah.
For me.
Also, with Luton, they can play the pretty one-touch stuff, but they can also mix it as well. You know, if it gets into a physical battle, they're up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having that adaptability in a game is massive, isn't it? I think we've seen that down at Rovers where we're trying to play one way and one way only, and not being adaptable's probably cost us more points than what it's won us this season. And I think, like you say, Luton have got that adaptability to play different, nice football and nasty football.
And Edwards is a good appointment there. He seems to fit.
Yeah, you've got to give credit to. He could have just been downbeat about obviously the situation, but yeah, he's grabbed it by a scruff of neck and he's made Luton into a force, hasn't he?
He didn't even have to make him into a force. Before Jones left, they were already a force. He just carried it on. I think being able to have someone who can carry that on is actually quite huge in itself, because sometimes you can get managers that come in and who rip everything apart. And he's obviously gone, this is working, so why change it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just added onto
Can
them
you-
solid foundations that were put in place, hasn't he?
Can you envisage Luton Town with a Kenilworth Road and 9,000 gates in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Be
I can
incredible,
actually.
won't it?
Will it be allowed? Do you think it'd be allowed?
Yeah,
Well, it were with Wimbledon at Plough Lane. They were getting
Right.
4,500 in the top division.
I think the
Right.
lowest ground in the Prem is Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
15,000, 14,000, something like that.
I don't think it's even that. I think it might only be 11.
Let me have a look.
I think it's similar to New York Stadium capacity-wise.
Tin up that though.
Drum roll.
Don't think he heard me.
No, I'm just about to say not.
He's not biting, is he? Yeah, he's not playing tonight. Any other games from last weekend that you wanted to touch
Yeah, it's
upon?
11,379.
So it's smaller than our gaff.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, Dan, your ground's too big for you.
Your ground, actually, I worked it out the other day, is literally and it was Worko who worked it out, so I'll give him some credit there. But he worked out, and I looked at it. One of the default stadiums on FIFA is literally Donny Rover Stadium, and I did a side by side comparison of it, and I'll find the pictures. I'll send it you.
Yeah,
And
it's
All right, yeah.
Molten Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
On FIFA. Yeah.
It's literally, and I've got a picture from exactly the same angle as what the thing is. It's like, it's uncanny.
Yeah.
It's a
It just
carbon
shows
copy of the Eco Power.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of new stadiums.
There's no soul.
There's not enough character in it, and that proves the point that a generic stadium on FIFA looks very similar to the Eco Power, but we'll take it.
And the bigger ones look like Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Well, Middlesbrough and Derby, they're done by the same architect.
Didn't know that.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
You do an aerial shot, it looks really similar.
Ian, moving on to Good Friday. Cracking result for you boys. 3-1 at home to West Brom. Hugo gets a brace.
Yes, it was a very good Friday. We started very well. We had Jordan Hugo missed a sitter in about the 5th or 6th minute. And then Connor Townsend got round the back of our defence, got brought down by Hugo. Definite penalty. And John Smith scored to make it 1-0. And of course, everybody thought, here we go again. But we equalised very soon after. We had a good Hugo corner from a Connor Coventry corner, which was good. Connor Coventry had his best game for Rotherham so far. I mean, I'm not a fan, but he did really play well. And then we went at him. There were one goal-mouth scramble where it could have been a penalty to us. It looked like handball on the line, wasn't given. Went in 1-1. Second half, we came out and we went for the jugular and it worked. A good free kick from Shane Ferguson, nodded in by Hugill again, which he'll have enjoyed that against his former employers. And then we could have scored 3 or 4 more. We would work 3 times. And look at the shots ratio. I mean, I think we had double figures shots on target.
Yeah.
Which is strange for us. But yeah, we ended up with a really good 3-1 win. It could have been far more.
I got a question for you.
That's a good injection of confidence going into a difficult series of fixtures.
You know, with Matt Taylor coming in, has he done a really good job, or is there a lot of teams that are worse than you this season below you?
I think a little bit of both, really, Jake. I think he is doing a good job. He's definitely changed our style of play. We're passing more. We're not so reliant on set pieces and long balls like we were before, even though we're still known for that. We don't. We pass through the thirds. We've got midfielders that actually distribute the ball well. Defensively, we're a lot better. If you look at our goal difference, I think we're one of the best goal differences in the bottom half of the table. And I think one of the least conceded goals in the bottom half of the table.
Well, he
So
did
he's
that when he was
made
at
us
Exeter.
competitive in virtually every game.
Yeah. When he
So,
got them
yeah.
up from League Two, he was very similar then.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're always in games, whether we lose them or not. We're always in the game, if you know what I mean. Give ourselves a chance. But yeah, he's done a really good job so far. He's brought some really good players in. He's hit or missed a few of the loanees. I mean, Scott High was a failure and he went back to Huddersfield. Connor Coventry really hasn't pulled any trees up. But if you equate that against Tariq Fosso, who's been a revelation, he's been really good for us. And bringing Jordan Hugill in on a 3-year contract were a masterstroke, in my opinion.
Bit of business.
Yeah, because he leads the line well. He's deceptively good in the air. And also, he's a centre-back's nightmare because he's a workhorse. And he's always snapping at the heels. So, yeah, I've been very impressed with Hugo so far. It's still going to go down to the wire, I think, the relegation. I think there'll be twists and turns and some disappointments along the way. But at least we're in there with a good fighting chance.
I think that's it. There's still a few games to go, isn't there? And for me, you've positioned yourself really well, but there is some tough games coming up in the next couple of weeks. But I can't see teams below you picking up enough points to overtake you at the minute. But
well, when you consider that you've got the likes of QPR that can't even buy a goal, never mind a win. Yeah. You've got Cardiff who are hit and miss, Blackpool who look doomed, and Wigan that don't look doomed. So really, I think it's only that third relegation spot that's up, because I think Wigan and Blackpool are down now.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next game, I will bring Jonathan into the stream. Good evening, Jonathan. Hope you're well. For anybody who doesn't know Jonathan, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and why you do it, mate.
Well, my name's Jonathan Harries. I'm 20 minutes late because tea overran, and I'm a massive MK Dons fan. Since the last time I've been on a show, we've been on some form of revival, which I know we'll get into later on. But just enjoying life at the minute, and enjoying the football, so can't complain.
And many happy returns for yesterday, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday for yesterday. So in the chat, happy birthday to Jonathan. But yeah, we've increased the positivity on the panel to 2 out of 5 rather than 1 out of 4. Back to this weekend's results. I think it's probably worth mentioning Huddersfield. You've just said that MK Dons have hit a bit of a revival. We've already kind of mentioned Huddersfield already, but another fantastic result away at Watford. We said Watford hit and miss, and they're just not hitting the notes that they should. I think they've probably underachieved this season so far, and it's going to be a tough ask to. I think they're probably out of the playoff race now.
Yeah,
it's still tight, but I think
they ain't got the form. They ain't got the form going forward for it.
No, I think it's so difficult to call in the championship this season.
I will say, I forgot Britta Malonga was still playing football.
Yeah, I did as well.
I thought he retired.
He was in Turkey, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm a Watford fan. I this manager merry-go-round. I'd want the club to stop it and just reset and just back someone and get rid of all the high earners and just
problem have a big. As well, though, their transfer policy is weird because they'll sell a player to Udinese, who is owned by the same people, and then they'll come back right at the end of the transfer window.
Mm.
And it seems dodgy to me. That shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, it does seem a bit soft.
Do you think there's an over-reliance on South Americans at Watford? You know, with the João Pedros and... Yeah.
Probably Watford's not been right for a while. And it's ownership for me.
The talent of that Watford squad, they should be challenging Burnley and Sheffield United, in my opinion. They really should. without a doubt.
I called this result though. I fancied Huddersfield. I was talking to Anthony, Dan, and I did to go here and win. I just think Watford are just. I don't think Wilder I think Wilder's just gone for a payday.
Yeah,
because he knows he'll get sacked at the end and he'll get compo.
Exactly, yeah. And
Did you see Backman send it off?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
I tell you,
What an idiot!
If he'd have connected with that, I'd have killed him.
Yeah.
Oh God,
That's assault. That
He just lost it, didn't he?
Yeah, his head had gone at that point, hadn't it?
even Wilder were like, "What are you doing?"
But no, a fantastic result for Huddersfield, which has well and truly ignited their survival hopes, for sure. Somebody shout out a game where we want to go.
Go Cardiff City, Blackpool, because that's Hugh for the bottom.
It is.
Oh,
It's all yours, mate.
Connor Wickham.
Yes.
So this was interesting because Blackpool, they're down for me. They're all but down. Cardiff needed all 3 points. Joe Riles has been doing it for so long. He's such a good player. Connor Wickham, hit and miss, depends on what his need does. He's had so many chances.
Brilliant on his day.
On his day, he's a fantastic player. At the start of the season, he was at Forest Green. And then he
That
went
goal he got in the FA Cup.
Yeah. And this probably keeps Cardiff City just a little bit safe for me. I think Blackpool are done. Whatever's going on at Blackpool with manager appointments and whatnot, it just not worked. Now, I did go on Lee Charles' channel and just watched a little bit, and they were saying Critley could go back, which I understand in going back, but surely twice burnt, you're not going to do that. If you're smart, you don't do that. Because he left you to go higher up and it didn't work. The thing is, Blackpool will need a complete reset when they go back down.
Yeah.
They've had some good news off the pit. They've got like a 22 million transfer training ground sorted, which is great. Which that kind of money you can do wonders with and get an academy. But for right now, don't go and hire anyone in to change that job kind of thing, because what's the point? You're literally turning around and saying your next season's manager.
And to be honest, I mean, sacking McCarthy when they already look doomed. What
Well,
were the point of that?
Right? It sounds like a mutual thing. It sounds like McCarthy kind of went, I'm not being able to do this. He was only in for 14 games. What can he do with 14 games?
Yeah.
Do you think he's walked so that he doesn't have a relegation on his CV?
Possibly.
Yeah.
If you can see that it's an impossible task to keep them up, rather than put a splodge on his CV.
Not got a bad squad at Blackpool.
If he's doing that, I'm losing respect for him. That's a pretty poor thing to do for him. Jumping ship.
Call for Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
Tony Pulis.
On Cardiff with Connor Wickham, though, I think the negative press he's had, it seems like he's had a bit between his teeth in this, because he scored and he set. I think did he set both goals up? I might be wrong, but he definitely set one.
He scored the first and set another one up.
Yeah,
he looked like he's got a bit between his teeth, which is we know this, Lee, from watching when he's had loan spells at Wednesday. When he gets going, he's a cracking player.
Yeah.
And
I've watched
he doesn't
Cardiff.
score tappings either, does he?
No. I've watched Cardiff this year, and he's what they've been missing, Connor Wickham, just someone to lead the line.
Well, 10 years ago, he were an England under-21 international, weren't he?
Yeah.
He was at Ipswich and then he went to Sunderland, I believe.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's knee injuries. He's been dogged with knee injuries. You look at, he just retired. Izzy Brown. He's retired at 26.
Yeah, that was sad, that.
He's had promotion with Luton. He's done well with Huddersfield. He didn't do well at Wednesday, and some of the abuse he got online from our fans was a joke. Yes, he came out and said he wanted to get the England squad because he thought he might be able to. But using that to a lad who just retired at 26, the lad's got to rethink his entire career now. And I think going and having a pop at him is the wrong call. At the end of the day, thank him for what he did. It didn't work out. Great. It's on loan. Don't. But
He was on
26
loan with us for half a season, and I liked him. I thought he were okay.
He was on
But
loan at
to
us and he
retire
gave
at
you a goal
26
from a
is
corner.
really sad.
He was on
Yeah,
loan
it
from us and you got a goal from a corner from him.
You just hope that things are set up for players like him, that the
I think
support's
the
there. 'Cause
PFA have got it. They've got a good structure in place.
They are better.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
'Cause
a good
there's-
article on the Athletic with him. If you subscribe to the Athletic, there's a really good article they did with him, and it's really insightful. He'd had a lot of stuff go off the pitch as well.
Yeah, because he's meant, like just about to say, his mental state must be all of it. Sure, he'll be absolutely heartbroken. I should imagine. So I just hope that the support is there for him.
Fingers
I'm sure
crossed
it will be.
is. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Callum in the chat. He said, "Evening, lads, and check Norwich." So
Good
decent
win.
result for Norwich, which puts them there or thereabouts. I mean, the form's
It's
been hit
tight.
and miss. 2 defeats, 2 draws, and a win in the last 5. Have they got what it takes to break into that top 6 coming into this final run in? They've put
They've
themselves
certainly
in a
got
good
the
position,
players.
haven't they? Yeah.
They've certainly got the players. They've certainly got the squad, and they play us tomorrow at Carrow Road, which it'll be a difficult one for Rotherham. But I think they've lost both the centre backs to injury in this game. I think Ben Gibson and Grant Hanley both went off injured,
Big
which
misses.
gives me a little bit of encouragement. That
Yeah,
I
both
mean,
did go off,
we all know what Blackburn are like this season. They either win or they lose. They don't draw, or they don't draw very often.
No.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-0 away win against the nearest rivals is a fantastic result for them.
Yeah, it was a big 6-pointer towards the playoffs, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
it really put them back in the mix. If they've got beat in this one, you can kind of write them off as not making it. But this has just pulled them well and truly back in there. That goal difference could be massive as well. If Blackburn lose a game and Norwich draw, it's worth a point in itself, isn't it?
Favourites, don't they?
I've just noticed Preston at 8th.
Yep.
Oh my
Mad,
god!
isn't it?
Coventry 9th with 58.
Yeah, it's so
That's how
tight.
that Championship is.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Millwall. They've hit a bit of a. They're struggling to score. So could they miss out?
It's a tough game against Luton, though, isn't it? I mean, we've talked positively about Luton and
Millwall at
how
home.
good they are.
Millwall at home are very good. So for Luton to go get a draw is a fantastic result.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Millwall's away form match the home form, they'll probably be where Burnley are.
Yeah, because they're well and truly in it as well, aren't they? But talking about Burnley, I think we'll finish. Well, is there any other games before we move on to Burnley and finish off in the Championship?
Only probably Reading with a 6-point deduction.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
looking in danger now.
Yeah.
But while ever you've got Andy Carroll on that pitch, corners and free kicks are a problem. So they've got a chance.
They got a chance for that. That's it. The thing is, I think they knew this 6 points were coming anyway. The thing with the 6 points, it's a daft one to get because all they have to do is follow the business plan the EFL has set out for them. That is
if
it.
they don't, if they haven't followed it,
Yeah.
they deserve everything they get.
Yeah, exactly. If you're told by a boss at your job to say, this is the instruction we need you to do to not get us in trouble with someone, follow it to the T. It's simple.
Sounds simple. Evidently, it's not because Reading couldn't follow it and they've been deducted 6 points, which has put them in a bit of bother towards the bottom.
They've been in trouble for a while, though. Their whole ownership situation, it's not great.
No. But I'm sure.
And again, they just played Birmingham, whose ownership situation is also not great. So,
yeah, we were talking before we
were
went
talking
live
about Andy Carroll and headers and whatnot. What about that header from Jukovic?
Jukovic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic header, that.
See, he seems to have been about forever, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's because he
He's
has.
been at Birmingham for about 30 years.
Yeah, I remember us being in Championship and getting beaten
Yeah.
by Birmingham, and he scored. It's crazy. But yeah, we were talking before we came on air about clubs' finances and clubs falling into trouble and things like that. I just think there's so many clubs who are currently on the edge and literally teetering on points deductions, administration. It's football needs a reset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You
Fit and proper owners test ought to be made more stringent and more enforceable.
Mm.
You blame Premiership though. It's that parachute payment that's doing all this.
Yeah, well, that should be scrapped anyway.
Yeah.
Won't do though, because they're in control. The problem is, even if this white paper goes through in the football regulations, the problem is it's all right for the whole of the 72 to agree with it. If the Premier League turn around and said we're not doing it, it don't go through.
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no point if you're not going to get the actual big boys who can actually help. Like when we had the whole COVID thing, the money that got divvied out for everyone below the Premier League was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was scraps, wasn't it?
Yeah, minuscule.
Yeah. But then this is kind of the similar argument to Wrexham and Notts County. Both have achieved 100 points in the National League, and there's an argument that it should be 2 up with playoffs, 2 automatics plus the playoffs and 3 down. I don't think it'll ever get passed because you'd need the teams in the EFL to agree to it, and nobody wants to
Be
lose
like
the league
turkeys
status.
voting for Christmas, wouldn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it'll happen. But yeah, moving on to Burnley, Middlesbrough hit a bit of a rough patch and really dented their automatic promotion hopes. But I think Burnley, they knew a win would guarantee promotion back to the Premier League at the first time of asking, and I think it's just been a matter of time, hasn't it, that this has been confirmed. They've absolutely walked the league, and it's been a bit unfair, hasn't it?
They had a little blip near Christmas, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, again, it goes back down to it, though. If a team can come down from the Premier League and spend what they spent like 30 million. Anyone else does that gets put down as your losses.
Yeah.
They funded that by selling the likes of Cornet and
Oh, yeah.
So they've actually funded that.
To be fair, the nice thing, they actually sold players on to fund it, which was it was weird to do. But Burnley, another one of the clubs, again, top 2 in the Championship. Burnley under an EFL transfer embargo. Sheffield United under an EFL transfer embargo.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when they get back to the Premier League. See what
I think they'll be more competitive this time.
Yeah.
And I think Vincent Kompany, I mean, he cut his teeth in managerial in Belgium with Anderlecht. I think he must have learned a lot.
I hope he stays with him and don't get lured by another job. 2 managers.
The thing is, there's a lot of clubs who are looking at him at the minute.
That's it. Yeah.
The problem
I think
is
the only club that might sway him is Man City. I think if Pep goes, I think the only club that he might go to and get swayed by is Man City.
Yeah, but he shouldn't go there too soon. It'd be like Lampard going from Derby to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Granted, he'd had another job before that. That wasn't him going from his first job to his second job. But I think the idea of a player going and doing well as a manager is completely different to it. Like, if anything, stay away from clubs that you're known as a legend at, because it can soon make it go downhill.
Yeah, unfortunately, fans are quite fickle, aren't they? And forget about all the positive stuff that you've done as a player. And
this is why Johnny Rovers don't want Coppinger anywhere near the manager's job.
Yeah. We will talk about Doncaster Rovers in a short while because there's been quite a bit of news coming out of the club this week. But we will finish the Championship with a look at the table. So interesting reading down at the bottom, isn't it? I think we're all agreed on Wigan and Blackpool as goners, but then Reading, QPR, Huddersfield, Cardiff, Rotherham, for me, are all in the mix for that 3rd and final spot. Would you agree with that?
I think what's heavily in Rotherham's favour is the goal difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be like worth another point to them. That.
And you know what? If Reading can just get draws and QPR lose,
Yeah.
Who do Reading play tomorrow?
Go on, Jake.
Preston.
Preston. Oh,
Oh, that'll be a toughie for them.
QPR got West Brom.
Paul Lynch gets sacked this week, by the way.
Do you know QPR might actually
Okay.
get something at West Brom?
yeah.
I think Reading will press the panic button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
Well,
get rid of
he
it.
won't do anything.
Bring McCarthy
No. Yeah, bring McCarthy. Yeah, he's already lined up.
He's waiting, isn't he? He's waiting for that phone call.
Yeah.
Moving on to the top of the table. We've already kind of looked at this with Preston and Coventry knocking on the door of the top 6. I think Norwich are probably the more likely to break in there, but it means one of these 4 slipping up, and I'd say the one looking most likely to slip up would probably be Blackburn. Like Ian said, they don't draw many. They've only drawn 4 all season. It's either a win or a defeat. So I think they're the most likely to drop out.
Dan. Who Blackpool got tomorrow? Not Blackpool.
Luton.
Oh, God.
They got
Blackburn.
Luton.
Blackpool,
Blackburn have got Huddersfield.
So huge games tomorrow at both ends of the table.
Yep.
So there's going to be change definitely there. Would you agree that Sheffield United are pretty much there? They were shaking at one point, weren't they? They were getting chased down by Middlesbrough. They've now opened a bit more of a gap up. Would you say that?
They've got games in hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
game in hand. Would you say they're there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, they're up. I'm just going to jump out at window.
I think the top 5 are nailed on. And it's just that 6th and final playoff place between Norwich and Blackburn, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. So a little bit over the half an hour for the championship, but we knew anyway.
Yep.
Moving on to League One. This is where Jake, Lee, and Jonathan come into play. We're going to start quite a while back, 29th of March, because we missed this one. I'm sorry about this, gents, but Cheltenham 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Alpha May is on there. Lovely stuff. I'll let you fight it out between yourselves who's going to be talking about this one. Unfortunately, one of you is going to have to talk about the next one.
Go on, Joe.
So, we made a change in net for this. Stockdale goes in net for this. Gives Dawson a break. I think he's confident we're gone from that Barnsley game. I think he had gone. And the thing is, that loss against Barnsley started our kind of run that we're on now. And fair enough, it happened. I called it months ago. I said our first loss will be how we go for the rest of the season. Granted, in that game, we went for it and it didn't work out. This one, we have this really bad issue again where teams have to score first against us at times for us to get into games. And the goal that they got, it was a tap-in. It was tapping. It was and then the other goal was Stockdale parrying it. And I know goalkeepers get to an age, the reflexes go and they do parry more instead of like keeping it close to them. But no one got to it fast enough. And it's just like, where was it going? And it only when Aidan Flint gets that header, you think, right, we'll go for it. And then from the 80th minute onward, we peppered them. Ball forward, trying to get it sorted. Lee Gregory gets the goal and you're thinking, right, we can go on and get something from this. And
Will Volks hit the post?
Yeah, Will Volks hit the post on the 96th and Adeniran blazed it over on the 94th minute. It's like, they'll go in, changes everything. It changes it. We're not having much luck at the minute. And I don't know if it's a mental thing that suddenly happened at the club because of those losses. And I don't think it is. I think it's just we're missing key players. And Darren Moore likes having a small squad. He loves a small squad. He don't like having too many players around. But the players like Adeniran, Deli Bashiru and Backinson who are not stepping up, they need to step up and be counted for now because we don't have a Joe Bayer. We don't have a Windass. Our injury list is ridiculous. But 2 players shouldn't change how the whole team plays.
No.
I think with us, it's just a case of getting that win.
Yeah.
To get back on the horse. That's what you just think. get that win, and then they can build from there. My one criticism of Darren Moore, I've not criticised him all year. I'd have not dropped Dawson.
Nah, I get why he did, but I also understand. My big criticism is Darren Moore, and it's a big one, and no one noticed it. Why the hell did you let Mighton go back to Nottingham Forest, who was on loan for a season?
Yeah, he's not even getting a game, is he?
No, he can't play because he was registered to us and he used all the registrations.
Yeah,
At the transfer window in January, Darren Moore said, "You're going back." Why?
yeah,
He's the ideal right now.
I saw Mighton when they played Morecambe in the Cup, and he were brilliant that night.
Yeah.
That Friday night game.
Yeah, he didn't pull trees up, but he's something we haven't got at the moment.
Pace.
Yeah,
Pace and trickery.
yeah. And he'd have been ideal, even just to come on off of the bench and change a game, change formation. He can play in various positions. He just left him sent short, hasn't he?
Yeah. He missed out in summer on Asante at Salford. He went to West Brom. It was all looked like that was going to get done. We missed out on Tom Cannon in January, who went to Preston.
Yeah, there'd be two players who'd give you that bit of a boost.
Yeah.
In times like this, wouldn't they?
I could imagine. Yeah. I could imagine Avanti playing off Michael Smith. That'd be pretty formidable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous. We'll give you two guys a little bit of a break before we move on to Sheffield Wednesday Lincoln. We'll let you calm down.
Jonathan, he's got some good stuff to talk about. Don't go to us.
Yeah, we'll bring the mood up a little bit. Jonathan, like you said, it's been a bit of a revival since you were last on the show. And 2-2 against a local rival, you'll take that, won't you?
Absolutely. I went to this game sort of more in a confident mood. We won out 3 games previously, 1-0. Granted, it was against Accrington, Cambridge and Morecambe, but wins a win in our situation. And we started off the game really well. Really good move to set up the first goal involving Tanai Watson and Lecco down the right, ball in, and Daniel Harvey was in the 6-yard box and tucked it away. Yes, our left back was in the 6-yard box. Wickham then grew into it when the referee decided every time a Wickham player went down, surprise, surprise, they got a free kick. And guess what? They scored from a free kick. And one of our former players, David Wheeler, who got us promoted to League One when we were last relegated to League Two as well. Free header. Then it got a bit scrappy again, played into Wickham's hands, and we thought, right, we're under the cosh here. Got to half time, 1-1. Second half, Wickham came out flying out the traps. Wheeler got his second, gave him too much time in the box to pick where he wanted to score, and he did. But credit to Mark Jackson, he kept faith with the squad up until about the hour mark, brought Nathan Holland on, and the pace of Holland one side and Lecco the other just changed the game. And when Jonathan Lecco puts his mind to it, he is one hell of a League One player. He can lose the ball and frustrate you, and then he can do what he did against Wickham, get the ball in the box after Wickham failed to clear, cut inside his man and rifle a shot into the far corner. Brilliant goal, absolute limbs in the away end. I've still got a bruise on my knee from that away end. Could have won it. Daniel Harvey went with his left foot instead of his right. He would have had an open goal. Mo Isa had a chance, strike saved. And then towards the end of the game again, Wickham made it scrappy. And I said, take 2-2 at a playoff push, like a playoff side. And yeah, it was a really, really good point. And I think that weekend it helped with all the teams around us losing as well. So it actually moved us up a place. And I was really happy to come out of Wickham with a point.
Yeah, I think like you say, Wickham touching playoffs. So to go there when you're fighting for your lives near the bottom of the table and come away with a point is massive. 80 IDs in the chat. Can't remember last weekend, but we've got for now. Yeah, I don't think Ian will want to talk about the Papa John's Trophy anyway. So it's not your favourite tournament, is it?
Yeah, I'm not bothered.
But in all seriousness,
I
hope
am.
you
Thank you,
feel
HID. And thank you for everyone who and you lads last time I wasn't on and Worker took over. It was I was in a bit of a mess, and I'm all better now. And decided to have a haircut for the sins as well, so I don't look homeless now or Australian, which is someone said to me the other day. I was rocking a mullet for about all of a day.
ATID's also said we have to talk about that Sunderland Hull game at some point. Absolutely silly. So we'll jump back to the Championship because it was a ridiculous scoreline, 4-4.
They both can't
Ian,
defend. Simple.
You guys are in the Championship. Quickly go through this one. Just for anybody who's come to the show late.
Incredible game. I mean, weren't it 2-2 after about 20 minutes? Something like that.
Yeah.
25, yeah.
Yeah, 25 minutes, yeah. And then it calmed down a little bit towards half time and then started up again. Two good attacking sides. I mean, a 4-4 and Hull scoring 4 at the Stadium of Light just shows you what our performance shutting them out at Hull was commendable, really. And
Was indeed.
yeah, fantastic game. And probably... well, I don't know about the pick of the goals, but I think Jack Clark's goal was a belter.
Yeah.
To me, he's been one of the Championship's best players this season.
He's still on loan at Spurs. Have they sold him now?
No, I think he's still a Spurs player.
I think they bought him.
Yeah, they
Well, I
bought
don't know.
I think they bought him
You
in
could
the
check
summer.
that out, Jake.
Have a look
Your
now.
stats, man.
I'm getting a notification of this. I'm the stat man on my other podcast. I know.
Go
They
on,
bought him in
Statman, talk it out.
2022. They bought him when they went up.
Oh,
Quick
right,
one, John.
okay.
Quick one, Jonathan. You've not got YouTube, have you?
Fantastic player for the Championship.
My own YouTube channel?
Yeah, someone
No.
that Callum's just put of you on YouTube. I didn't know if you did.
Nah. Haven't got a face for YouTube like you, Lee.
I think we can all agree none of us have faces for you.
No, I certainly am.
No, got faces for radio.
Chef Wednesday Lincoln, we're going to have to go through this one, gents. Lee, you take this one, mate. Jake had the last one. Everything in this, surely it points towards a Wednesday win. 20 shots, 5 on target, 67% possession. What's happening?
We're just not keeping the clean sheets. It showed, obviously, we're not scoring a lot, but previous times we went on the run, but it's clean sheets that's killing us, and it was sloppy. Obviously, starting well, you think this is it. We're going to finally get that win in front of the home crowd, and we just make a sloppy mistake and a sloppy goal, and just. It's just frustrating at the minute. It's just like I've just said, we just need that win. It's just got to come from somewhere, and I think once we get it, I think we'll maybe go on
Accrington tomorrow.
Yeah, but they won at the weekend.
Yeah, none of them's going to be easy now. We're coming to the business end of the season. It's just the boys need to step up.
We're carrying too many passengers at the minute.
Yeah.
Who are definitely on the bench who should be like stepping up, and they'd have Bellwaite been like they've been knocking on Darren's door to say I want to play.
Yeah, and they're not performing, and it's just
weird.
Yeah, and
they're always going to draw that one though, because that's what Lincoln do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Wednesday as well, aren't they?
They play Plymouth, do they, tomorrow?
Yeah, they play Plymouth tomorrow. Yeah.
So come on, Lincoln.
Do a draw there.
But no, it just the lads really need to step up now, and I'm hoping Patterson. He's going to be key for us. He's what we need. He's got that fight.
The last, I would say, Forest Green, Cheltenham, and probably Barnsley, having a Patterson come off the bench is what you need. He gets into your faces. He winds them up. He's a little bit of a shithouse.
Yeah.
And you throw in, he's got his heritage with Barry Bannon in the net. It's like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, I'm chucking him in tomorrow if he's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So he's got to start.
Him and Wilkes. Wilkes made a difference, though. Wilkes did make a difference when he came on in this game. and I know there's a lot of Wednesday fans haven't been Wilkes' bigger critic. He coming injured, and the thing is, injuries just come at the bad time. This happened last time around this season.
Yeah.
We started having injuries. Darren Moore likes small squads, and the problem is, it's all right having a small squad, but if you ain't got those 3 players who are willing to step up, especially in midfield where we're struggling, it's different. We haven't seen the same Marvin Johnson since that Ipswich game. He's been off the boil. At the back, you're looking at certain things. You've got Flint doing all the work. Iorfa's looked a bit dodgy at times. If we don't go up, there'll be a massive reset at Wednesday because there's 11 players out of contract in the summer. Some big players as well. Like big players. I'm talking Windass. I'm talking Joe Byers. There'll be a big reset if we don't go up, but there'll be a big reset if we go up as well.
And championship clubs will come knocking as well.
A question for you, Jake. If we don't go up, do we get rid?
The problem is, I think if he doesn't go up, Darren Moore may lose his job, and I think that's cruel, considering the season we've had. But if your remit from a chairman is to go up and you've had 2 opportunities and given the players you want to a point, what can the chairman do? It'll be cruel if he does, because in theory, Darren Moore shouldn't lose his job after having an unbeaten record of 23. And I think it was 18 clean sheets, 19 clean sheets. Any other season, a manager doesn't lose his job. But because he's going
to the club.
Yeah, and every other club, yeah. The only reason I think he stays is because of the good relation there with Chansiri. The only thing I think it might do is Chansiri might go for the Ipswich model of boom or bust. I'm just going to give you like 10 million, go. Because Darren Moore's still not spent any money.
I think it'd be harsh to get rid of Darren because you've not gone backwards. You've progressed since last season. You've done much better this season than what you did last season. So
if he goes, it'll be like when Karloff went. It'll be fans calling for it. Not
that's the thing. If he gives him next season, you look at the talk on socials. People just don't want to back Darren Moore for some reason.
I know the reason. So,
so if you give him another season, the pressure, if he doesn't start well, it's just the fans will be on him.
He's instantly under pressure, isn't he?
Yeah, he built such a good culture since he come in and just changed it. But we'll see what happens. We need a win.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Ian, you went to watch Barnsley Morecambe, didn't you?
Yeah. I was starting to have a little bit of a fear on Barnsley because at home they're imperious. At home they score goals for fun. Yeah. This particular game they played some absolutely fantastic football.
One more.
They played really 5-0. It could have been double figures. They absolutely battered. Cole, Kane, Luke O'Connell, brilliant players when they're on song, but their away record is becoming a problem. Losing a Exeter and then Burton, neither of which were expected. I mean, they'll comfortably get in the playoffs, but it's the away leg of the playoff semi-final that they could lose out.
If I'm in playoffs, I don't want to play Barnsley, though.
No, you don't want to play Barnsley.
No.
Especially at Oakwell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I'll give the Barnsley fans credit. They get behind the team big style.
Yeah. They always have done. And if you actually look at what happened with Barnsley start of the season, it wasn't great off the pitch because their sponsorship was that weird crypto hex crap.
Yeah.
And all you saw on the Barnsley hashtag was all the bots going, hex, crypto is amazing and all that kind of stuff. And then they actually did research into what it was and what it was about. And then, we need to kill this.
Yeah, pulled out.
Yeah, and they killed it really quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have gone through in the first place. You should have done your due diligence and gone, this ain't right for our club. I understand when the money's on the table and you just take it, but Barnsley got a knack and Michael Duff is doing a cracking job there.
Oh, he's done a fantastic job.
He'll be a very good championship manager, possibly Premier League manager one day, I reckon.
I heard somewhere that he's leaving regardless, isn't he?
There's rumours about
it. For next season.
For end of season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be gone at end of season, 100%.
I've heard it's already been agreed. I can't remember where I've read it that he's going somewhere, but I can't remember where. But he's at
I've
Barnsley
not
until
seen that.
Can they do it
until the
now?
end of the season.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, there you go. Huddersfield Town identified Barnsley boss as long-term replacement for Neil Warnock.
There we
What
go.
Now,
Huddersfield.
that would be a good appointment for Duff, that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's if
it would.
Huddersfield stay up. If Barnsley go up and Huddersfield come down,
Yeah,
you'd
that's
expect
what I
them to stay
said,
at Barnsley, surely.
Yeah.
And while I'm at it, can I give a massive shout out to Dino Marmrier at Burton? What a job he's done.
Cracking
we'll-
job.
I mean, at home
We'll
now,
start there
they
from
seem
this week.
unbeatable.
Oh, great. We've got them soon. Cheer for that, Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the last game of the season. Thanks, Ian.
Sorry about that, but they're
Come on,
doing
Ian.
really, really well. Yeah.
but
And
no,
some of the results that they've picked up have been quite eye-catching, especially at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, they
I
think
saw them
good.
against Exeter, and they didn't look. I mean, yeah, they won 1-0 with a last-minute goal, but they didn't look all that. But some of the results they've picked up of late have been fantastic.
yeah, it's breathed life into them at the bottom of the table, hasn't it? It's pulled them.
Can we talk about Ipswich a minute? I don't want to, but the others are doing something really good.
You're attacking everybody in with Burton.
I really don't want to talk about Ipswich, but Jesus Christ, what is in the water with them now at a minute? They've gone on goal. Oh, crotting out.
Unbelievable,
George
isn't it?
Hurst.
And not only that, they're not conceding any goals
No.
at all.
They're just solid at the back, and they're playing some really good football. And the thing is, Ipswich fan said to me that watch us. We haven't had a good January, but watch us because we're starting to get players back. We're getting players back fit, and we're getting players who can go. George Hurst, if he doesn't sign for Ipswich, somebody in League One take him because he's not a Championship player, but he's a damn good League One player. He found his level now. You have a Connor Chaplin, a Webb Burns in there, and that can feed him. And granted, one of the goals they scored was set up by her. He's just playing really well. And credit to what they've done. You look at the business they brought in. They brought in Broadhurst, and it was I think they only paid 1.5 million for him from Sunderland. It's nothing.
Yeah.
But they spent a lot, and I think they're at that point where they need to go up now. Because if they don't go up, they're going to have issues financially. But because they have probably overspent a little bit this season, but they're that confident that they can get up.
Stevie, can I have what you're having, mate?
Yeah, this is the problem. Wednesday fans have gone a bit weird. Like someone said to me, Ian said it to me, someone else has said it to me. So you still got games at the minute. It's great, everyone's saying that. We watched Wednesday, me and Lee. We don't look like scoring at the minute.
You'll
That's
still
our
win
issue.
league.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope that emphasis there. It's just
Ian, are you adamant? Are you still?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% Wednesday will win that championship.
Huge statement there.
But no,
I think we'll start off tomorrow against Aki, and I think they'll go on and they'll get the second wind and go on a winning run.
That's what we need, isn't it? I think if we go on that run again, we'll be fine. But
I think the Ipswich have got the harder run, aren't they? Out of the two,
they got to play Barnsley.
Yeah, and are they away at Peterborough as well?
Yeah. The one for the one for me with Plymouth, they got Exeter, and a derby. You can never always tell what will happen.
Yeah. That's their only game though, isn't it? Out of everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Again, though, they're not a great team away.
No. Anthony's in the chat. He's just saying, just going back to what Jake said about Huddersfield, Warnock has brought in players that were told by previous managers who were no good. But I won't count my chickens yet. Plenty of top clubs to play. So, yeah, I think he's just brought in players that had kind of been put on the back burner by other managers, and he's getting a tune out of them for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've said, bang average players. They're told by one of the world beaters, and they go and play like it.
Yeah, definitely. Jonathan, floor is yours for another decent result, a 1-1 draw against Portsmouth. Talk us through this one. Are you happy with it or not?
on the face of it, another point against a playoff chasing team is good. Another point at home is good, considering our home record this season. But playing against 10 men for over half the game, we didn't really test them. Portsmouth came out, and by the way, what a team! What a striker Colby Bishop is. He didn't score, but my God, he made himself absolutely. He was unplayable. Jack Tucker tried to mark him, couldn't get near him. Dean Lewington tried to mark him, couldn't get near him. Anthony Stewart tried to mark him, couldn't get near him. He was just the. It's just the size of him. He just seems to get himself set when the ball comes in, and his hold-up play is just phenomenal. And it brings players like Owen Dale into it, and they really sort of build their attack off that.
He was a bargain for what they paid for him as well.
Yeah, don't remind me. We were in for him apparently, and we couldn't match the wages, Portsmouth. So yeah, I'm a bit gutted about that. Then Portsmouth took the lead through another sort of set piece, sort of quick free kick taken. Really good finish by Ogilvie. He seems to score
good finish
against
for the centre back.
Yeah, it was a really good finish, and they just were so comfortable. Joe Morrell was running the midfield. Owen Dale was tracking back. He was being a little terrier, winning the ball back. And then we got a corner towards the end of the half, and referee gave Portsmouth a free kick, and we didn't think anything of it. And then next minute, we see the referee give a red card. And at first, we thought it was Ogilvie, but then it turned out it was Morrell for what Portsmouth fans are saying, a knee in the back of Daniel Harvey. Because we'd heard several rumours that it was a headbutt, to which I said, well, Daniel Harvey's Scottish, so why didn't he give him a Glasgow kiss back?
Yeah.
But second half, you can imagine it was basically playing in Portsmouth's half. I didn't feel we moved the ball quick enough at all. Mark Jackson took a defender off and brought Will Grigg on. That seemed to make a difference, having two strikers up there. And we got the goal from a corner. I'm so pleased my wife has got the goal because he's looked a bit off the boil and a bit temperamental recently, spitting his dummy out when he's subbed. And I'm hoping this is the springboard that he needs. I think a point, in fairness, was the fair result. Portsmouth could have won it at the end if Joe Piggott had been a couple of inches lower, and that would have killed me, him being former AFC striker. But yeah, take the point and move on to a nice, easy game at Pride Park against Derby County, he says. Haha.
To be fair, Derby's not been that
Incoming
great
score.
recently, so you might get something there.
A question's come in. Do you reckon Wrexham can beat Notts County tomorrow? Both teams deserve to be promoted. We've already kind of spoken about this. I don't think they'll ever change it from 2 promoted to 3. I do think it's going to be harsh on one if one doesn't get promoted. But for me, I'm on the side of the fence for Notts County in this one.
Same here.
If Wrexham play like they did on Friday, no chance.
Depends which Wrexham.
Yeah, they were
turn up,
well
though,
beaten at Halifax, weren't they?
They were shocking, mate. They were just... I mean, even going into half-time, they were 1-0 up, but I won't say they were amazing, but Halifax should have just outplayed them second half. But yeah, on that, I think the only thing that might help them is that home support tomorrow.
Yeah, they've got a game in hand as well, Wrexham, haven't they?
Yeah. Tomorrow it's basically whoever wins, I think, wins it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're getting
Leinster.
100 points and don't get promoted, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mental.
I think a
Like
draw
Macaulay
wouldn't be too
Leinster
bad for Wrexham,
scored
though.
42 goals and no penalties is just phenomenal. Everyone's going on about Haaland, but I think Langstaff deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Oxford against Sheffield Wednesday, because we are flying through time at the minute. It's can't believe how quickly it's going. Jake, Lee, another one.
Started well. I'll give credit. We started well and we did play well. It's an absolute worldie from Barry Bannon. He's doing what Barry Bannon does. At the end of the day, Barry Bannon's had an interesting week. He's now a father of 2. They just had a little boy, Wilf, so he's knackered, which is great. But they came back into this. But this was weird. Right. I've had it all on my videos this weekend about the refereeing. Take the fact that she's a female out of it.
Yeah.
Just take the gender out of it, because the refereeing standards from the 72 to the Premier League and probably right down to non-league is crap. Just give it. Don't do this whole, oh, she's a woman shit. The reason she gave that penalty, and it wasn't a penalty, it was very, very soft, is because before that penalty, Wilt pulled his man down, and he clearly pulled his man down. He didn't have any way of getting hold of the ball. He just wants to pull the man down. They go up the other end. We have a free kick go the same way. Then their penalty is ridiculous. Akinfenwa doesn't know the man behind him. So he's just trying to get up, but the player's already going down and then gives a penalty. I get it. You're trying to even it up. But having a go at someone because of her gender as a referee is wrong. All referees this season have been shocking. That was bad. You look at when we played Plymouth at Argaff and we had VAR on the screen. The refereeing standards across the entire 72 in Premier League needs a massive review in the summer because it's getting worse. I don't care what anyone says. To get a point against them, not great considering they haven't won in 13 now. But things started to boil over a little bit. Palmer and Barry Bannon had a little bit of a pushing match between each other, had to be broken up. I don't know if it's something that, especially with those two want it so much. Barry Bannon, been here for a while. Palmer, club legend. He played here since he was a lad. And I think two passions just going over. A draw, your take, but we need to start winning games.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think more need to act like Palmer and Bannon, to be fair.
He doesn't know that's his issue. He doesn't know, does he? He's very calm and mild-mannered.
Yeah. Just, on that, Jake, I totally agree. She's definitely give that penalty because of the decision before, 100%. I seen the penalty that we got against us, and I thought, wow, how should she give that? But then you watch the one before, it's a definite pen for me. And totally agree. Female, male, dog, cat, doesn't matter who, who's ref in the game. It doesn't matter. They're there to do the job. People make mistakes, but yeah, I agree. Refereeing shocking throughout.
You've been to some non-league games, so you're seeing some really bad refereeing standards.
Although the refereeing in non-league's better than the actual football league. Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you think there's an element of non-league refs trying to get into the EFL and Premier League, so the performances are better? Because
that could be a good thing long term.
Yeah. But then is there an air of complacency once they're there? I don't know how referees are judged. Do you think lower league refs are watched a bit more to try and get them into the league, whereas league refs aren't watched as much? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the referee had yesterday. She's only had ref 14 games.
I think that's what I was just about to say, Jay. They push him too quick, I think, instead of getting games under the belt in non-league where they learn the trade. But also, I've said this for years, why are we not getting ex-footballers involved in getting trained to be refereeing? Yeah, they might. 90% might not want to, but you 10%, they probably will. Why are we not utilising that?
Can you imagine that? Like someone like Gary Neville or like an old Roy Keane and someone having a go at them. They'll just get punched.
Then again, they probably know that it's a tough job and they don't want it.
But then again, we've just seen it in the Liverpool game. The lineman has gone to elbow Robinson when he'd gone to have a word with him. So,
yeah, he deserves it though. He's a prick. Any other games we want to touch on before we look at the League One table?
Just one.
Go.
Posh at Shrewsbury.
Go for it, mate.
They're just brilliant. Posh are absolutely brilliant. They just score goals for fun. They concede plenty, but they score more. And Darren Ferguson is doing the business there. And I make them favourites to pick Derby for the last playoff spot. What's your guys' views on that?
I've been speaking to a Shrewsbury fan the other day, and they basically turned around. The reason why it's suddenly gone bad for them, they lost Shea Dunkley at the back, and apparently he was commanding it. He was the one that was commanding that defense and doing it. And now that's gone. That's why they're leaking goals. I can see Peterborough getting that spot because Derby are not winning enough. They've lost too many recently, and Peterborough just got a little bit of a grip between them.
The scoring goals are fun as well.
Yeah.
Well, when you've got
Claxton,
Johnson
Harris
Harris, who's a League One, well, he's a shoe-in for a League One Team of the Year.
Yeah.
Dan, can I do the Claxton for former manager? Because he's a former manager of yours, isn't he?
Well, there's Claxton for
can,
Clark Harris
you
as
can
well.
do the Claxton for Johnson Clark Harris, been a Rotherham player as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no, a great result for them. And Shrewsbury potentially on the beach. They've conceded 9 in 2 games now. I think it was 6-0 against Charlton last week, and then 3-0 at home to Peterborough. I think they were kind of touching playoffs about 3-4 weeks ago. We were praising them on the show.
Still been a good season for them though.
Oh yeah, fantastic season. But I think they've just got to that point where they're like, yeah, job done, off we go.
Yeah. We're not relegated. We're not going up. We're there.
Yeah. So looking at the table, talking about relegated, Forest Green, I think they're gone. Morecambe, they're giving themselves a little bit of life, but I think it's not looking good. Cambridge as well, and Accrington Stanley, and then it's anybody from really Cheltenham down, I'd say. Nobody's really out of the woods, are they?
If I were an Oxford fan, I'd be frightened to death.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're sinking like a stone at the moment.
Come on, Accrington Stanley after tomorrow.
Yeah, I think everybody would like to see Aki stop up, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think
good
this
win
is
for them at the weekend though. They got a 3-0 win versus Port Vale at home, which is good.
Yeah. I think this is the positive reading though for Jonathan with the two draws and 3 wins in their last 5. It's really
the best form out of anyone down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you play tomorrow, Jonathan?
We're away at Derby County, so we could be doing Jake a
you get a point there
in the playoffs.
That'd be nice.
But I seem to have a lot of Wickham and Peterborough fans in my inbox wanting us to do them a favour, which is very weird considering they both hate us. I'm just concentrating
Wickham don't
on
stand a cat in hell's chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just concentrating on ourselves, to be honest.
You'll turn to anyone when you're desperate for points.
Yeah, this is it.
But yeah, I'd agree with Ian. I think Wickham have probably thrown their chances of playoffs away with that run of 4 games without a win, 2 defeats and 2 draws in their last 4. Derby potentially can get there, but I think Peterborough are probably the stronger out of the 2. Ian, strong statement in thinking Sheffield Wednesday is still going to win the league. I think that for me, the worry is that Plymouth and Ipswich have got that game in hand. So,
and we had 2 games in hand and we blew it.
Yeah. It was in your hand, whereas now you're looking at others to slip up. What do you think? Do you think you can break into that top 2 again, or is it just that you've got to get that first win?
Go on, Ian.
Can you remember the season before last when we were when we had 4 games in hand and we still went down?
Yeah.
Because we didn't win any of them because we were playing 4 games in a week.
Yeah. I think that's what probably cost us with the run we had, because we played a lot of games in 1 week. And I think that having no breaks that actually caused a problem with injuries. The thing is, Plymouth don't travel well at times.
No, they don't.
That's my thing. Yes, they beat Morecambe 3-1, but it's Morecambe. No offense to Morecambe fans, it's Morecambe. You're struggling down there. They don't travel well. Ipswich, they look like they're just the team to go at. If we get the first win, it'll be interesting. But if you actually look at who we've got the next couple of games, we've got Aki tomorrow, Burton away on the 15th, Bristol Rovers on the 18th, Exeter at home on the 22nd, Shrewsbury Town on the 29th, and then Derby at home on the last game of the season.
Well, I think you could chalk Shrewsbury off as a win.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about Burton, because
I'm not too sure about Burton or Bristol or Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, because Joey will get them fired up, won't he?
Yep, he did when he played us at our place.
top two's as is now for me.
Yeah, same.
I
We'll
think
see.
Ipswich win it. I do think we'll get to the final playoffs against Barnsley.
Oh, great.
Here's a question for you. That's
a good prediction.
Who would you like to face? Who would you want to face in the playoffs?
What was that? Sorry, Jonathan.
Just a question for Lee and Jake. Who at this point in time, who would you like to face in the playoffs and why?
None of them.
Fair enough.
Ideally Bolton, but because Bolton been there and they've done it this season, they might have that kind of thing of saying we can win at Wembley.
And that's so he meets Ogden as well.
Sod off, I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, on that, Jonathan, I'm just avoiding Barnsley. I won't worry about any of the others. I think over two legs, I think we would have, enough. It's just Barnsley. I just think they're our Achilles heel.
If it's Bolton in the final, Ian can come with me and we can go and find Fogg and he can meet his idol.
Oh, yeah. I'm up for
that. I'll message you, Ian, because we're like that now.
Really? I hope you're on top, Lee.
We swap it round, mate.
If I were to air my real thoughts about that guy, we'd never broadcast again.
No, indeed we wouldn't.
I drink at the wrong time.
Please,
I think that's probably a good point to move on to League Two.
Please clip this and tag him in it.
Yeah, let's not. I don't think 18 Dapper can afford the lawsuit he might bring.
I can see boxing match now.
Hey, I'd still have a go at 61.
So, moving on to League Two, we're hurtling towards an hour and a half. I think we're going to go over that. We always do.
Yep.
But the news for Donny this week, it comes out just after the early bird season ticket sales have finished that Terry Bramall, our owner, is putting a significant amount of funds into the playing budget next season. I think a lot of Rovers fans have approached this with caution because we've heard significant funds and bounce back decisively and all the buzzwords before, and the proof hasn't been in the pudding over recent years. We've seen poor standard of loanees come in. We've seen a lack of kind of squad stability going through seasons ever since really Grant McCann was here. The squad was decimated before he left for Hull. Darren Moore had to come in and mop up a lot of shit really, and he brought in some high quality loanees, but it wasn't sustainable as a squad. And then from there we've just struggled as a club, both on and off the pitch. I think the board have tried to run a sustainable model in terms of the Club Doncaster model generates the playing budget. I think that's a good way to go. It shows that we can tick over as a club, but it's at a detriment to the performances and the ability on the field. And I think that's the reason we are a solid mid-table, bang average mid-table League Two team at the minute, because that ambition has not been there, or the funds haven't been there to kind of push us forward. I think the board have seen that this season, and Terry Bramall's come out and said he's 80 years old. He wants to see Doncaster Rovers thrive, and that's in League One, pushing towards the Championship. So he's committed to putting a lot of money in. We don't know how much. Honestly, I don't want to know how much, because as soon as people know how much we've got to spend, the price of players increases. I think agents will just see pound signs. So it's like playing poker with your cards on show. So I'm not fussed on if it's 2 million that he's putting in, 4 million, 10 million. I really don't care. The fact is he's putting money in, and I think we need to see proof in the pudding with players that we sign in the summer. Doesn't help us this season. I think we're tailing off to a bit of a nothing season, and I think that comes with the results that we've had recently. Go back to the 1st of April, Crewe Alexandra, a poor team last season. It was called the El Crapico last season, and it wasn't much better this, from a Rovers perspective anyway. Sticking with his principles, 3 at the back, 5 at the back more often than not, 4 in the midfield and one up front. It's just really isolated, playing out from the back, and it's not great football to watch at the minute. Now, I don't know if this is because he's not got the tools to change it. He doesn't believe in the players that he's got to be able to swap it up and put a different run in together or a different setup. But I don't know. Schofield's just not showing enough for me at the minute to show that he's.
It just doesn't seem to be a plan B, does there?
No.
Yeah, that's it. And any good coach will have numerous plans to go to, regardless of the players that he's got. So I do worry a little bit in terms of if he has got this war chest of money, that
what's he going to bring in?
Yeah, but then having said that, we've got Coppinger and a recruitment team who are going to be in charge of recruiting the type of player that we want. So if Danny Schofield's not there, there's only going to be a manager who plays a similar style coming in. So I think
Can I make also a suggestion for next season when the fixture come out, Dan?
Yeah.
Can we all have El Crapico shirt for when you play, and we all wear them on the stream?
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
4XL.
But yeah, I think this season it's petering out to nothing. I think if we'd have beat Salford a few weeks back, we'd have been, I think, 2 points behind them, 3 points behind them with a game in hand. I think we'd not be on the beach. I think that point where we got beat there, that was the season.
You've had weird injuries this season as well, though, haven't you? You've had a lot of injuries where they come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a threadbare squad at the minute, but I think that's also down to the recruitment in previous years, and that it all boils down to money, and we've not had much to play with.
But at least they're giving that 18-year-old a chance up front.
Yeah, and he's looked really good. He came on against Crew, and he put himself about a bit, but again, really isolated up front on his own. I think he's a player who needs a
very
strike
difficult
partner.
for a kid of that age. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Can I ask you a question, Dan?
Yes.
The attendances at the Eco Power. Do you think there's a little bit of creative accountancy going on?
There's no seats available, mate. It is absolutely rammed.
I've been 4 times, remember?
I think they count all of the season tickets. I don't think they count bums on seats. I think they count all tickets that have been sold, or tickets that have been gifted to schools.
When I were there the other week, there were nowhere near 6,000 there.
Are you secretly getting out the cardboard cutout from COVID and shoving them on seats?
Yeah, just dotting them around to make it look fuller. But this has been a worry because of the board coming out and saying that we're going to bounce back decisively. The expectation's been really high in the fan base. I've said it on air a few times, that I interpreted that as that we were going to be pushing for playoffs, if not top 3. And Liam said on the lower league look last night that bounce back decisively doesn't necessarily mean that we were going to get playoffs or automatic. If we have a look at the stats last year to this year, we have bounced back. We've stabilised. We're in a much better position, albeit in a lower division. But we've conceded less. We've scored more. We've won more games. So I think you've got to sometimes take yourself out of that emotion of following a club. Look at the stats. Look at the position that we're actually in as a club, and look at it as if I were looking at Rotherham or Sheff Wednesday or MK Dons. If you guys went on a similar trajectory to what we have, my perspective would be, I'd assume, much different to what yours is because you're emotionally attached to that club. And I've tried to kind of look at it in a balanced way. And yeah, it's not been a great season, but this time last year, there were a lot of noise saying that we were going to go the way that Scunny have. So yeah, maybe it's not as bad as people say. But
no, and I've been telling you that all season, Dan.
Yeah, but I don't listen. But yeah, poor performances, poor results at the minute. Hopefully it changes in the summer. Any games that you guys want to go over from the 1st of April?
Go on, Bradford Grimsby, because I covered that one.
You did. Talk us through it, mate.
What a cracker. Bradford scoring early. Grimsby were a slow start, but then they really come into it and played some cracking stuff, to be fair to them. Bradford fans were really getting frustrated. Massive crowd, 19,000 there. For League Two, it's absolutely incredible.
They're averaging 18, aren't they?
Yeah, great support home and away, but yeah, Grimsby will be frustrated because obviously they were good value going into half time, 2-1 up, and they just seemed to just fall to bits. To be fair, Bradford got a scrappy goal, but one that they needed to draw level, and then that man Andy Cook with a winner.
Just of what he does in League Two, doesn't he?
Yeah.
His record is incredible, isn't it, in that division?
Yeah. And obviously they'll be, because they've been struggling just for wins, I think, at home. That's the first time they've won maybe at home out for a while. Before that, I'm not sure. They've just been frustrated. So to get that win were massive. But on reflection, maybe a draw would have been fair. I just think Grimsby just fell to bits a little bit. But I think with Grimsby, I think maybe the cup runs just took the toll on them.
Yeah.
They seemed a bit leggy second half on that one.
Hope for the leggy all day tomorrow because we've got.
Yeah. I'll tell your preview. I do fancy you for a win tomorrow.
Oh, win for Hartlepool.
Oh,
versus Swindon.
what a job he's doing, John Askey there.
Yeah, that is a cracking win.
Yeah.
He just managed to make them a bit more playable and a little bit of belief under them. Hartlepool a couple of weeks ago wouldn't have got back into a game like this. They would have just seen out a 1-0 and it'd be done. And the fact that it's 88 and 94 shows you how much the players are working now and trying to get this. And I think that's huge in a season which might need to. They can as a result that could keep them up.
Yeah.
I saw that fight they drew to Leyton Orient. The fight is there, and I saw these results coming because they've got the belief. I'll tell you the key player from you, Jonathan. I forget his name.
Dan Kemp.
Yeah, unbelievable he is. And he scored, I think, this weekend, maybe.
I think he scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I've been told by my Swindon Town fan, the reason they've gone a bit down is the lad we had on loan for who was on loan to them. Brennan.
Right.
Apparently he's doing really well in the back, and now he's gone. It crumbled a little bit.
Right.
I mean, for the size of club, Swindon are seriously underperforming, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they'd be up there or thereabouts, but yeah, it's been a poor season for them as well. Daniel's hoping Crawley stay up and Hartlepool get relegated.
If Crawley go down, they are in big trouble financially.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
definitely.
isn't doing well.
No. We will move on because we broke the hour and a half mark. We will move on to this weekend for League Two. We'll probably spend a little bit more on League Two next Sunday. But another poor result, but albeit a slightly better performance for the Rovers. But I don't think it's a game that people are going to. It's not going to live long in the memory. Listening to Jules in the Blood TV, watching his vlog.
I did see Lizzie tweet going, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. I think it was basically two bang average teams and a little bit of quality. Won it in Tom Nichols' volley. Yeah, good finish, but we've given him the whole of the 18-yard box to do it. I'm not sure why Molyneux's left him to stand on the line, but it is what it is. It's a long throw, it's a knock on, and we've just switched off. And a good finish from Tom Nichols.
You need to be staying switched on all the time. It's just like
just a bit tighter.
You look at Gillingham though. Gillingham are now safe.
Rovers had chances though, didn't they?
They did, and this is what kind of gives me a little bit of belief going into next season. It was a decimated squad. It still is a decimated squad. We've got a lot of injuries, but at the same time, I think we're starting to. I think I've seen shoots of what can happen in previous games, but we just need to see it a bit more consistently, and hopefully with a squad that Danny Schofield wants, we will get that. But yeah, the highlights, we had a lot more clips on the highlights than what we have in recent weeks, so take a little bit of belief from it, but it's still no points, and it's a bad run of form that we're on at the minute. I think it's 1 win in 10, 1 win in 9, something like that.
Do you back Schofield?
I do. A lot of people don't. I think I'm finding it hard to judge him at the minute because let me just get on Saturday. He only had 2 players in the starting 11 that were his players. The rest was 3 with McSheffreys, 3 were Wellens, 1 from Darren Moore, and 2 were youth. I think it'd be really harsh to judge a manager who's working with players from a past regime. So I'm wanting to give him time next season and see what he's like once he's out.
I think he's got to, because he's not been in long enough to do anything. You got to give him a pre-season. You got to give him a transfer window.
You've got to give him at least a transfer window or so.
Yeah, I mean, he got nothing this January, so I think we've got to give him a transfer window and see what happens. If we're not seeing any improvements come October, November time, then I think Coppinger's got a big decision to make on Danny. Rumours at the minute that Grant McCann's keeping an eye on Doncaster. I'd take him back. I thought we played some really good football under Grant McCann. It was exciting to watch. We might have got beat 4-3, but
good managers to get to rebuild as well, especially down there.
Yeah, but at the minute, I'm back in Schofield until October, November time. See what he brings in the summer.
Before we go on to the league table, when we do it, can we just add Lee's foot, because he's been doing a lot of non-league stuff recently, just to quickly get it in there. Because Lee's been covering non-league and being to see what he takes on it is.
Non-league, it's the place to be. I'll be honest. Honest to God. So I've done a lot of National League. Absolutely loved it. Yesterday I was down Step 7 to cover FC United and Manchester.
Fantastic video, by the way.
Thank you very much. To see what the hype was about, and it didn't fall short. Honest to God, from start to finish, everything about that club is how football should be for me. For a match day experience, it was unbelievable. You just felt so welcome. Every fan talking to you, just in general, just about football.
You can have Europe there.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. Like, you're just talking to different lads. It's just there because they've heard about what they're trying to do and just bring football.
It shows you what happens when a fan group gets annoyed with their current team and goes, right, I'm done. I have got so many mates who has actually went to just support non-league now. And it's a nicer environment. I have more fun. I don't get too peed off if I lose, because everyone's like, it happens, it's football. It's just a more community environment. And I think when you start supporting non-league stuff like that, you feel more part of the club than being part of the furniture when you go to like your Rotherhams, your Sheffield Wednesdays and stuff. I think you get used to seeing the same people all the time.
Yeah, and for me, I want to go back there now because of that experience I've had as a football fan. I just went there as a neutral and just absolutely loved it. And a guy I spoke to from Holland, I think it was, in Holland or Germany, he said it bang on. We didn't have to get a membership to try and get a ticket. I could just turn up, enjoy football, and it were just, you're not a number. You were a football fan, and it were impressive.
Yeah, highly recommend people do go and support their non-league teams. I mean, whenever MK Dons aren't playing, I always try and get over to Brackley Town, where I live. And again, as Lee said, it's brilliant. They've invested in a new clubhouse, and it's like reasonable prices for food and drink. And as you say, you can mingle with the home and away fans. It's not like the EFL where you've got to sit where you're told. Basically, you can mingle, you can talk, and it's such a brilliant experience. And the football as well it's still a pretty good standard as well.
Yeah, I had 7 goals.
I always enjoy Smith's on the road vlogs, because he does a lot of non-league stuff, and he's always very, very good and very entertaining.
I think that's the pleasing thing to see people actually going. Not just football fans, but like vloggers going and seeing what these clubs are about. Because a lot don't know the experience that they can have as a football fan. You don't have to support them; you just go and help them. And I honestly believe, as years go on, people would constantly fall out of love with the Premier League, and it'll not be fans there; it'll just be a tourist attraction.
Yeah, well, it is at Manchester United now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your average Manchester United fan lives in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Tim, who's the social media guy there. He said, "Oh, who's your competitor?" He was a Man United fan. He was speaking to someone. He said, "Oh, is it Liverpool or X?" No, it's Alton Towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
That tells you all about what their goals are as a football club. But on that, the club was set up in protest of the Glazers, but by their own right now they're a football club. It's not just a protest; it's an actual football club. They're there by their own right now, and honest to God, I've got a massive soft spot for them now because they're absolutely unbelievable what they're trying to do down there. I can see me getting a shirt next year and a scarf and hat and a lot.
And that just shows what the power of football can do, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
I think it does get lost the higher up the table and the league pyramids that you go. But there's a lot of still kind of local community clubs in the EFL that are struggling. But I don't know. It's just it's a tough business, isn't it?
It is.
To get that fan base in, get the money in.
It's become an industry in the top tiers.
Yeah, I'll compare it to this. Obviously, I've met you through this YouTube. I'll go to grounds. I'll just talk football like I do with you. We talk football. It's what we love doing. We just because we vlog it, we've followed the game for years, and we love it because it is the beautiful game. We don't want it to be about money and just look how much money we're spending, and I just don't want that football experience like that.
I think you're going to get that a lot as well because apparently the Premier League are looking to take the broadcasting rights off Guy and BT and take it in-house. And it wouldn't surprise me if you see more fans go non-league because it's like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, they can go for me because I couldn't be less interested in the Premier League.
No, I'd agree with that.
I'm really falling out of love with it. I'd this season, especially from starting this YouTube, I've noticed getting to games, the difference in football, the old experience is just massive. And I've not watched as many games as I did last season. I'll admit that.
Yeah,
and I'll watch any football game because I absolutely love it. I've noticed the big difference.
I have a lot more fun when I do my local team at times than I do Wednesday.
Yeah. But that's a given, Jake.
Yeah.
It's brilliant being a neutral. It's fantastic being a neutral.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
It's getting rid of that emotional attachment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I enjoyed the Huddersfield Norwich game that I went to watch because I was just watching football and there were no stress, there were no bother about it, and they do fantastic.
Our missus hates it because she's like, "Who are you watching now?" I said, "This team's like, you don't need to support them." And
fills the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I
couldn't watch the Old Firm today though because she's a Celtic fan, and anytime I turn it on, the Rangers always go.
But no, we're quickly coming up to an hour and 45, so I think we'll leave League Two. We'll have a look at the table and we'll focus on League Two at the start of the stream next Sunday, because I do want to talk about Hartlepool. I want to talk about Rochdale, Carlisle. Huge result for Newport against Northampton, which has opened the door at the top. So we will look at what those results have done to the table. And I think a couple of weeks ago we were saying Rochdale have gone and probably Hartlepool, but what a run of games for Hartlepool. 3 draws, 2 wins. It's put them well and truly back in the mix, hasn't it?
And Colchester are back in the mix as well.
Yeah. I think Gillingham upwards are safe. I think it's any 2 of the bottom 5 now for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rochdale have got enough to pull
themselves out of it. On the last day of the season, it's Harrogate against Rochdale.
I don't know if Rochdale have got enough, though. I think at the minute they're probably playing with freedom.
They're fighting well, though.
Yeah. They're not going down without a fight, are they? But I'm wondering if it gets to that final game of the season and they need a win, will they go back to the Rochdale at the start of the season playing under pressure and not delivering, whereas the pressure's off now and they're just playing with a bit of freedom, aren't they? One saving grace, Harrogate have got a game in hand as well, so if they do get a point or 3 out of that one, that does pull them a little bit further away. But it's going to be interesting over the next 6 games. Down at the bottom, I think, like I say, for me, any one of these teams down here are in danger. Would you guys agree with that Gillingham
I'd agree with that.
Safe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I called Harrogate from a fair few weeks ago. I still think they'll could be the ones. I think Hartlepool will definitely get out of it, my son.
You think Crawley, Colchester, Hartlepool survive Harrogate and Rochdale down
any
here?
one from them 3.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. And then moving to the top of the table, I think what I found over looking at Championship and League One is the top part of the table, you see a lot of green, whereas here, everybody's drawing at the minute in League Two. Nobody really wants
Orient.
Yeah, Leighton Orient have pretty much ran away with it at a canter, haven't they? But then from Northampton down, it's like nobody really wants to go up.
It's looking that way, isn't it?
This might be wrong, but a lot of them play each other, coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, Carlisle's got Northampton coming up. I know that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was speaking to someone yesterday about this league. I'm sure they play. A lot of them play each other. Might be wrong, but
yeah. So there's going to be a lot of swapping and changing. I think for me though, the top 7 is pretty much set. There's only really Salford.
I mean, Mansfield are coming into form. They've had a couple of good wins.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're currently bottom of the form table, so we'll brush over Donny until we start winning again, and then I'll focus on us a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, it's not been the greatest of seasons. But I think as soon as we got to 50 points, I think we switched off. But yeah, really interested in seeing how the top 7 and especially 3rd and 2nd and 4th shape up over the next couple of weeks. Lovely stuff.
I think this is the longest one we've had, isn't it, really?
Yep.
You know what? I don't think I've ever been live for this long. I'm knackered.
Oh, you like the transfer window thing? They're horrible. I did 4 hours this year.
Yeah, that's why I completely avoid doing live streams that are over an hour. But no, I've enjoyed it. We've got caught up over the last couple of weeks. It was my fault that we missed last week. Went on holiday. It was a nice week away, decent break, but we are now back on it. Probably until the end of the month. I think I'm away for a weekend again. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask the boss. She plans everything. But no, we'll go around the screen for any final words. We'll start with Jonathan. Anything else to say on the EFL and this week, mate?
No, not really. Just looking forward to this next month, 5 weeks, see what comes from top and bottom, and obviously then we've got the dreaded playoffs, and then just great to be on shows like this, and great to be able to interact and speak to like-minded people.
Lovely stuff. Lee, on to you.
Yeah, so I'm at Hillsborough tomorrow. I'm hoping to bring the luck back, get that win, and look forward to an hectic April and May. Plenty of football coming up, so I'm absolutely buzzing. It's going to be a busy one. And absolutely.
Hoping the season's not extended, though.
Yeah.
The what?
Hoping that the season's not extended, though.
No.
Ian, any final words, mate?
Well, I'll be paying me £10 tomorrow for a iFollow and getting the prayer mat out for our game at Norwich. But there's a lot of twists and turns and anything can still happen. So, yeah, looking forward to it. A little bit nervous, but there you go.
Hopefully it's a good result to pull you further away from danger, mate. Jake, any final words?
I'm just going one game at it as it comes now, like I've been most of the season, and just see what happens. And also remember, there's more to life than football at time. But I know people will have a go at me and go, "Oh, there's much more to it." But at the end of the day, football comes and goes. As long as you're safe and happy and you're enjoying what you're doing, don't like.
Yeah.
If you don't like someone's video or vlog, don't leave a comment. Leave it.
Or
Just
don't
walk
even
away.
watch it.
Just if you don't want to see it, don't watch it. It's a very, very simple section. I don't watch the soap because I find them boring. I don't watch them.
In fact,
You
hit
know
that
what, no?
dislike button because it still helps with
Help the
algorithms.
Just press every button. Help with the algorithm. But no, all that I can say is thank you to each one of these guys for sitting with us for nearly 2 hours and talking football. It does make supporting the Rovers much easier because I've got somebody to vent at, and these guys have got a platform to get out their frustrations as well. It's not a 72 review, like we say. It's more therapy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we will take it, and I appreciate each and every one of you who's come along to watch and put your input in the chat as well. Get it shared, get it liked, get it put out there so more people can see it and interact with us. And all that's left for me to say is this has been the 72 review. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.